Ya sé. Tuki.
No, al juego.
Ah.
Ah, no, pensé que estaba en el Stanley, no sé cuánto.
Bueno, Stanley no sé cuánto. Vamos a jugar Stanley no sé cuánto.
Es de 100.
Ah,
Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Ahí abajo.
eso. Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Oh. No abre la mierda. Trabaja como yo. Se escapó. Se escapó. ¿Por qué no puedo abrir puertas si el juego se trata de puertas? Digo, el juego se
When
trata...
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
¿Una computadora? La única prendida. ¿Y si me tiro al segundo piso? A ver si Stanley deja de ser feliz.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
No, mejor me voy.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Yo quería salir a... Me tiró. Pensamientos intrusivos. Pensamientos intrusivos.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've got off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Yo decía, bueno, no me veo. Son dos, menos de 2 metros, amigo. Son dos yo más o menos.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ahora voy directo.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
¿Pero qué?
Lo dijo diferente cuando entraste a la habitación azul.
No me di cuenta cómo
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Subo o no. O me vuelvo a suicidar. No está... O sí, es muy alto. No me había dado cuenta. No está... O sí. Supongo que voy ahí, ¿no? Huevo también.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing in your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
No. Yo estoy haciendo todo lo que no tengo que hacer, más o menos. Lo que me dice... No hagas tal. No te tires de la plataforma, se tira. Y va para la izquierda, voy para la derecha. Va para la derecha, ahí para la izquierda. Ay, dejé de explorar mi cuenta.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
¿Por qué se lo sabe? Yo quiero por esta. Yo quiero por esta.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Ay, qué mierda.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red. All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
Oh,
You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I'd written out specifically for you? You wouldn't think I put a lot of time into that, because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
¿Y qué tengo que ir? No me den indicaciones ahora, ¿dónde está la mierda?
Te dijo una tercera puerta. Si fuiste una, fuiste la otra, está dando una tercera opción. No sé, Uma. Hasta ahora hiciste lo que vos quisiste.
Me dice que vaya a la tercera. Si me voy a la primera.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
¿Qué dice ahí? Feedback area. Atrás. ¿Dónde está?
¿Sabes lo que significa lo que dice? No. Ah, eso decime. Me preguntaste qué es lo que decía atrás. Y atrás dice feedback area. ¿Sabes lo que dice arriba?
Sí, por favor, elegí para tu experiencia algo. Ah, por favor, puntea tu experiencia. Ahí va.
Puntúa, no puntea.
No me gusta estar acá.
Experiencia del juego, ¿no? Bueno.
Sí, sí.
¿5 es bueno?
Supongo.
No sé.
Yo lo estoy tomando por divertido.
¿Es tu juego?
¿Es tu juego? ¿Y cómo lo toco?
No sé, tenés un joystick en la mano. Probá.
¿Qué pensás que hago?
Aha!
Ahí está.
You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Mierda. Ay, ahora me pone el nombre. Ay, y ahora me pone el nombre. ¿Dónde está la mierda?
Eso es lo que están jugando. Worldwide Leaderboard.
Buenas.
En total, tantas puertas abiertas.
Opa. No, pero quiero verlo. This is you. Date ti, suerte para ti, con mano. Esa de vuelta no, ni loca.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Mostrar la principal.
No, no.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, then I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Bueno. Está bueno, está muy bueno, está muy bueno, está muy bueno. Me encanta. No lo conozco.
Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man, spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
¡Al fin! Che, como que me muevo un poquito lento, ¿no? Me muevo un poquito lento, ¿no? Me quiero tirar, me quiero suicidar, en serio, me quiero tirar de alguna parte.
¿El ascensor ese?
Sí. Yo no confío mucho en este tipo.
Oh, no. No, it can't be.
Sí, pero siento que estaba...
It's an open world game. Good God, quickly, block it off.
Mierda.
Thank goodness, Stanley, what a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing, that big open, just wandering around, no right or wrong directions, no path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
¿Quién te dijo que podías?
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
Quiero perder. Tengo que perder.
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Oh, mira, ahora voy muy rápido. Sí, me doy cuenta. Estoy mirando por dónde salí.
Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my mission? Hold on. What are you doing?
¡Ay, lo logré! ¡Mierda! ¡Meta 5! ¡Mierda!
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
Necesito algo para nombrar que necesito ver qué hay acá. Eso. ¡Ay, Me caí toda. Creo que tendría que haberle hecho caso. Sí, sí. A ver, ¿puedo venir para acá? Ok, no puedo venir para acá. Ay, ¿dónde estás? ¿Dónde estás?
¿Dónde estás quién?
Este, que no sé el nombre.
Ah, Stanley.
No, Stanley no. El otro, el que me dicta las cosas. Narrador.
Narrador.
Ujú. Está buenísimo.
Vas hacia la luz. No, hacia la luz.
No, digo sí. Opa. ¿Qué es eso? Ay, solo son las sillas, son las sillas, ¿no? Ah, no, nada que ver con música. Ay, siento que es de terror el juego y me tengo que quedar. Siento que ahí es una persona, siento que ahí es una persona. ¿Y ahora cómo salgo?
No sé, Uma.
Me cagué toda.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Volví. Empezó de vuelta.
Parece.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ahora que sí, como abrir puertas. ¡Quiero salir por ahí!
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Quiero tocar el celular. No sé. Estaba tocando acá, amigo. Sí. ¿Qué tengo un teclado en las manos?
Es el trabajo de Stanley.
Sí, pero... Se escapó. Mierda. Yo decía que ahí había una puerta.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this room that called so deeply and so personally to Stanley? Its grace, its subtle charm? No. Stanley knew it was something deeper, something darker. Yes, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Sí. ¿Viste?
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Si quiere sacarme.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
¿Qué dijo al principio? No lo leí.
Estaba esperando más diálogo. Cuando no pasaba nada, bueno, el juego te está queriendo dar mensaje. Es decir, no va a pasar nada más.
Ya sé, pero...
No eso dice. No es si es lo que va a pasar.
Está buenísimo.
But at last, he had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
A ver qué hay acá, porque ni siquiera la vi, la ignoré. Quiero que ponga el texto de una... Ay, dale. ¿Sabes cantarme? No sé con cuál ir. ¿Quién es molesta, viste? Para joderlo.
No por lo que quieras andar.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Mira, un café. El juego quiere decirme algo con los tazos, ¿no? Te hacen dos partes. Pero bueno, sí, esta vez voy a seguir un par de indicaciones. Solo
Look,
dos.
Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Estoy mirando por dónde bajar. ¿Está abierto ahí? Yo lo bajo. Necesito bajar. Sí, me doy cuenta.
O sea, no podés bajar. Fíjate a lo mejor no llega ni abajo.
Sí. Estoy pensando.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Es que encontré por dónde ir y tengo que ir por ahí. Necesito. Ya está, necesito ir por ahí. Lo vi, necesito explorar.
They'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing?
Igual no leí.
When Stanley came to a set of two
Es que
open
como es lo
doors,
que
this was
ya
not
dijo.
the right way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Sí, ya sé, pero estoy en... Porque mirá, acá se puede bajar. Sí, ya me di cuenta.
Hay una plataforma ahí para que
¿Ves? Eso.
Claro, sí.
Tengo que ir por ahí. ¡Ja! Mira. Estoy mirando. Quiero ir abajo. Ay, ahora debí haberme soltado antes. ¿Cómo ir? Ahora no sé cómo ir. A ver. Allí hay otra puerta.
De ahí venís.
Sí, me doy cuenta. Hay transporte, pero no puedo ir. Creo que por acá ya puedo bajar, pero... Para mí tampoco, pero... No quiero. No quiero, no quiero. Yo lo sabía. Mierda, mano. ¿Dónde aparecí?
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had
Cagando en
begun
las patas.
that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun just so far off the beaten path
¿Cómo se
that
calla?
the office had begun just so far off the beaten. You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
Bueno, lo miro. Ya, me quedé sin mirar.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
No hay nada.
Ahora, todo lo que dice es verdad.
¿Lo que vamos a hacer recién? ¡Ay, la música! Nada. Nada. Ay, andate a la mierda.
¡Dale, un macho perro!
No hay nadie. ¿El café estaba tirado?
No sé.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, giddy in a way he had never known before. Was it this room? A connection between the two? Could a man love a room? I mean, truly, truly, deeply, madly love.
Sí, ya terminó.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Dale, por el camino que no era. No sé, siento que si voy por el camino que no
Stanley
era,
was so
que era.
bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
¿Hay grisiones?
¿Eh?
¿Hay grisiones?
¿No puedes?
How
¿Qué ves?
wonderful. Stanley
No me
was
fijé en uno de los tantos relojes que hay, me decís si es.
This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
Ay, me envolví. Me volví, me di media vuelta sin querer. Sí, estaba tirado. Yo pensaba,
¿Estaba tirado siempre?
andate a la...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Date el tizo para ti, choque de humano y que poquito estás...
¿No puedes salir?
Estoy intentando. Sí. Ajá, lo sé. Es que... no es... Ay, mi mierda. Yo can't jump. Tu primer trofeo. Ganaste
Yet there
trofeo.
was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
¿Sabes qué voy a...? ¿Qué puedo seguir la respuesta? Si tengo el... Ahí la... Me cagué toda.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Boom, chacala.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Me encanta cuando se pone a reaccionar cuando sigo tocando cosas.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Boom, chacalaca.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
Dijo, subió.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh, me dio miedo.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep he doesn't have to take responsibility? Awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am
I? Ay, creo que ya cambió un poquito el tema.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Opa, cambié de género, amigo.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Cambié de género, amigo. What? No, cambió. Ahora. Sí, cambió. Mira. Esto no era así. ¿Por qué siento que todas las plantas son personas? ¿Por qué la vibra de este juego parece de terror? No es de terror. Ah, mirá, me salté tremenda parte.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
¿Sí? ¿Qué ir esta?
Ah, la primera puerta a la izquierda dice. Por siempre va.
Tengo que ir esta.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Tirarte es morir.
Sí, ya lo sé. Pero si hago así, como hice recién hace un rato, ¿viste? Tiki, tiki. Que me subí ahí. Puedo intentar otra vez.
Pero no hay un lugar de ahí a
But in his eagerness to
Ah,
prove
boy.
that he is in control of the story and no
Boy.
one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from
Son
the platform
menos
and
metros,
plunged
amigo.
to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Pero puedo comer. Sí, perdón. Pero arroz así rico, más rico
Someone
que
was
solo
following
arroz con agua.
Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
Y mire sobre mi hombro. ¿Qué sea más rico que solo arroz con agua?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Tenés queso para rallar. Eso. Me rayas un poco.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Porque
Perhaps he wanted to
Estoy
stop by
grabando
the
por algo.
employee lounge first,
Yo te
just to
conozco.
admire it.
yo sabía que... Yo sé que a vos te gusta verme jugar.
Me parece más divertido.
Ujú.
And here it was, the lounge. What a room, Stanley thought to himself. What a room, what a room, what a room. This is what Stanley thought. What a room.
What a room.
What a room.
What a
What a
room. What a
room.
room.
What a
What a
room.
room.
Va, va, va.
What a room.
What a room.
What a room. What a room.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Esto que sí.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Ah, ahora siempre son nuevas historias. ¿Por qué va por ahí?
¿Por qué fallo? Porque la otra opción era seguir las reglas de este tipo y...
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track.
Ay, pensé que
So now,
seguía,
in
pero...
order to get back, he needed to go, from here, it's, left.
No tengo otra opción.
Oh, no. No, it's to the right. My mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh, dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
No tengo miedo.
Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way. No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Le voy a hacer caso.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Le voy a hacer caso. Le tengo que hacer caso. Ahí.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Estas están juntas. Sí. A ver, espera. Es justo que te iba a hacer caso, hijo. No puedo pasar por esto tampoco. Igual esas también están juntas, amigo.
¿Qué vas a hacer? ¿Cambiaste tu parecer entonces?
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
¡Ah!
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Cállate un poco,
Stanley
amigo.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Esta vez sí le voy a hacer caso.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything? Acá no había dos puntos, ¿o sí? Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
No te mierda.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley?
No.
Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart. All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Para. Lo tenés grabado, tenés que mirarlo.
Lo voy a ver.
Yo te espero, te voy a esperar, te voy a esperar. La línea cambió, Ahora me lleva a otra parte. Avísame cuando estés viendo. Escribime. Voy a esperar hasta que esté viejo. Sí.
Ahora estoy viendo.
Cheto. Venga. Le tengo que seguir, esta vez sí, te voy a hacerle caso. Pero me voy a poner música. Un segundo. Creo que voy a mirar por otros. Ah, sí.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we...
Deja la música del juego.
Even if there's no story there. Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay, now if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood. Cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Foto. Un lado y el otro. Ahí va, porque dice, tenés que acordarte. Bueno, yo me lo acuerdo. De otra manera, pero yo me lo acuerdo. Listo, vamos. Amigo, ¿en serio?
We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
¡Ah, mira! ¡Otra vez la maldita línea!
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Oh.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
No sé, pero a mí me suena más como, tipo, no sé, algo de terror, porque es como que voy...
Oh,
Mierda.
no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
O sea, no le tengo que hacer caso. Es como voy, bueno, no sé. No le das caso a la línea. O sea, voy a hacer todo lo que no tengo que hacer Clarina. Bueno, la voy a seguir por un poquito. A huevo.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait, you know. I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
No tengo la mínima idea de lo que pasó. Cambié de cosa.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Te voy a hacer caso, amigo. Te voy a hacer caso.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Mierda. Mierda.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the...
Un segundo. Estoy descifrando lo que dice. Estoy en eso. Tengo el presentimiento. Dinero para robar, pero el tuyo, por supuesto. Ese es un bolso de la ley. No tengo ni la más mínima idea, pero eso es lo que dice. No entiendo qué significa. Pero bueno, no entiendo a qué se refiere, me refiero. ¡Ah! Mierda. Supongo que... voy a otra parte. Bajar o algo. Supongo que... Mejor dejo acá el coso, ¿ok? Bye. Nos vemos.